Hi, this is Chris. This week I went to my local antique mall and I took my camera inside with me so I could show you all the goodies. As you watch the videos, try to figure out what it is that I purchased and brought home. I usually go in with an idea of something I'm looking for so that I don't go crazy and buy everything I see. And so this time I was looking for small boxes to hold things in my studio and maybe some vintage sewing notions. Before we get into my antique mall haul, today as I'm recording this, there was a little flea market in my town and there were only 6 booths. It was at the little county museum and we haven't had a flea market in such a long time and I wanted to go and see what they had. I hope that they have more throughout the summer because I miss them. So anyways, I found, for $1, I found this stack of folders. There's a lot of them. So anyways, it's nice to have some nice manila file folders. Then I saw this cute little turquoise pot. This is Depression era. It's the era of Bauer and Fiesta and USA pottery, but it's unmarked. And it was on the museum's donation table. So I gave them a donation for it. And turquoise is my favorite, and I love that pottery from that era. And then the final thing that I bought was this little shelf unit. It's a corner unit. And I'm going to put this on the shelf behind me where I can put store boxes of supplies. So I thought that was cute. So that was the flea market in town. Here is a glimpse of the little flea market. There were actually 9 booths. 3 were behind me from where I'm standing in the picture. And I was enjoying the beautiful roses that were blooming. Now I'll take you on a tour of our local antique mall. It opened in 2005 and it's been doing really well ever since. So full of stuff. I love to go there. I started at my favorite book vendor. I've purchased a couple of books from him before. They're a little pricey, but I found some really nice Art Nouveau era books from the 1890s to the 1920s. I worked for a newspaper and magazine publisher for 27 years, and I did a lot of page design and typesetting, and so it was interesting to see the creative typesetting in this book. As a graphic designer, I also enjoy looking at vintage labels like this one. Here's a shelf with a lot of metal, tarnished silver. There's some bronze and wrought iron and copper work, brass. And then up here we have some small clocks. I love little clocks. In fact, I have one that's very much like that one in the center, that West Clock one. Some ceramics and enamelware and porcelain. Some framed prints and linens. Some Chinese art. And then over here I see a cat. Oh, he's so pretty. A beautiful embroidered sweater, mid-century it looks. I decided to go upstairs to the mezzanine. I haven't been up there for a couple of years. I usually go to the other room, which is to the left as you come in the door. And it's only 1 story, but this side of the building has 2 stories. There are a few rooms at the back of the building that are booths with a lot of old Western items. This is Northern Nevada, so they get a lot of cowboy stuff and ranch stuff around here. This building, when I moved here 30 years ago, was a plumbing store, and this is probably some of their storage areas. I love old bottles, and I have a small collection of smaller medicine bottles and a couple of unique bottles, but I've never seen this many old bottles in one place. Just a lot of different examples. And we came to a good selection of wooden boxes and some vintage sewing notions. Lots of buttons and buckles and snaps and trims, some linens, some crochet, some doilies, some upholstery fabrics, bits and pieces. And here's everything you need to make a vintage dress. Isn't that pretty? I know there are some people who like vintage taxidermy, but I think I'll pass on these guys. I prefer something more like this art pottery, although it is pretty far out of my budget. We just came down this aisle and now we're at the front of the store, and we're going to head back up to the back of the store where the stairway is. I'm trying to photograph this without reflections. It's a black and white photograph that's been printed as a lithograph with color. It's so pretty. It's from the mid-1920s. Here I've turned to face the front of the building, and you can see the top of the arched windows that reach up to the second floor. These doll houses are really unique. Obviously handmade by someone for their little child or their grandchild to play with. Very chunky. We'll spend a minute now looking at some kitchenware, some tablecloths, dishes, cooking utensils, all the cute things. And then I will head downstairs and check out, and hopefully I didn't go over my budget. Keep watching to see which of the items you saw in this video I actually purchased. I brought home the octagonal box. You may have seen that on the shelf. It's made of bamboo. It's nice, it's clean. I'll use this in my studio to store items in. Has a pretty rose on the front. Has a character on the back. I might try to look that up and see what that is. That was $10. Next is this box. I think it's mahogany. It says made in France. It couldn't have been expensive because they got it a little bit crooked right here. It opens up and it has dividers. I think this will be great for storing embellishments and different supplies maybe. Also in my studio I have several little boxes that I like to put stuff in, as I said before. So I bought this Franciscan Desert Rose saucer and coffee cup or teacup because this is the set that my grandmother had when I was growing up, and she and my grandfather retired and they moved to a little house in San Clemente, California, and it was like a little cottage, and this set just went so well with the ambiance of that little house. I always remember it. And the set went to somebody else when she passed away. So I got this little set to remember her by. I did get a few of her teacup collection. She had a teacup collection, maybe 20 teacups, not a big collection, and I was able to pick out a few of those. So this will join those. Then I got some linens, and this is a pretty circular linen with appliqued flowers. They look a little bit like lilies. I'm not sure what they are, but it's very colorful and very pretty. That looks kind of pretty on there. So I got that one. And then this little one here with the little butterflies at each end. And this one with some embroidery and a little cut work. And scalloped edges. Thought that was pretty. And here's another one with some cut work and applique. This one is bigger. It's quite big. And then this one, which is actually folded backwards, I think. I think this is the proper side of it, with a delicate cut work and some little seed stitching in here, some satin stitching. So those are the linens. I picked up 3 packages of wide single fold satin bias tape. Kind of come in useful. There were a lot of vintage and antique photos in this one booth, but they were a little bit beyond my price. This was originally he wanted $5, but it was marked down to $3. But look at this little girl. Isn't she just so sweet? And then you may have seen this in the video. So I'm going to put these others out of the way, and then we'll look at this. So this was $20 for the whole bag. I have already opened it because I did film this previously, but my camera switched to slow-mo, and I didn't think you wanted to see this in slow motion. Plus it takes off the audio. So here we have the pattern. It is a Vogue pattern from 1954. Size 18, 36 bust, 39 hip. A little small for me. It was $1. Paper's fragile. So here are the instructions. I won't take them all out. It's a very, very pretty dress. I mean, that's why I bought that. That's such a pretty illustration on there. And it came with seam binding in turquoise and a matching zipper. And matching thread and some matching ribbon. And it's interesting, the pieces aren't printed. Instead of being printed, they're punched. So this says front facing, and it's difficult to see. That says front facing, and then it has square holes and circular holes and darts cut. So all the pieces are supposed to be there. So what do you think? Do you think I should sew this dress and put it together. So let's put this aside and I'll show you the last item. So you will have seen this in the video also. I love this photograph. It has such beautiful subtle colors. It's almost like a painting. And it's obviously from the mid-20s, a tulip garden. So this was marked as a black and white photograph that had been printed over in color lithography. And so if you look close, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but you can kind of see the little dots of the, I can get my lamp from reflecting. You can see the little dots that make up the color variations used in lithography. As a graphic artist, I'm interested in all kinds of printing techniques. And the little girl with her dog sitting on the stoop, and you can see in the background the chairs, and then here's a big wisteria, and you can see the craftsman style porch railings and the roof of the house over on that side. So I'm not sure if I'll keep this in this frame. I would prefer to put a mat around it and put it in a little bit larger frame. I think it would show off better that way. So that's what I got at the antique mall. And my budget was $100 or less, and before tax I spent $85. So I think I did pretty good. I think I got some really nice things. So how did you do guessing what items I picked up? Put down in the comments below if you were correct on anything. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye-bye.